might unplug wires.
Which is why I wasn't here.
I did not. I'm loud enough, I think. I can. Hello. So,
I've never met you before.
what do you think you could bring to this roundup? No, there you go.
Where's the
Hey.
Where's the? I have one thing to say. Where's the Valkyrie one? Where's the Valkyrie one?
Oh, the flags.
The Valkyrie don't participate in this.
Yeah, we're pirates. We don't need. What time is it? It's technically time. Do we shut the doors? We leave the doors open? Leave the doors open?
Yeah, shut the doors, turn off lights.
Do the people at the back want to come and sit further in the front?
Up to you.
That way we don't have to use these. We're connecting.
Not for Aura, but I'm in station audio. I think a long time ago. But for Apocrypha, I'm in station audio for Apocrypha. Right. Hello, everybody. I'm CCP Red Kate. I'm community developer on Valkyrie. Thank you very much for coming to the roundtable. I hope you enjoyed the presentation that Rue just did. Woo! Okay, good. Round of applause for Rue. Oh, this is CCP Nut Muncher. His real name's Calcifer. He was. I'd like to go on record as saying I did not choose the name. This was chosen for me by the team. And we're still talking about it, so that may change. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go from the right through to the left and introduce the other guys around the table. So would you like to know?
Hello, I am CCP Grendel. I am the Senior Communications Lead for RVR Games.
Hi.
Hi, how's it going?
My name's Andrew Willens, CCP Rue, and I'm the lead game designer for Valkyrie. But that's not a microphone. Rue.
This is the microphone.
Slide him across.
This is not any round table. This is a Marks and Spencer round table.
I'm not going to use
But there's not enough old people.
My name is CCP Sentinel. I'm Senior Brand Director of CCP for RVR Games.
So there we go.
And I'm just going to shout as well. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just going to shout to you. We're close enough to it.
How come there wasn't more Valkyrie swag in the store?
It's something we thought about, but really, the number of people you have at the show are so much more EVE Online players still that like making a bunch of stuff just for Valkyrie players was just didn't make sense for us. But that's why we wanted to make sure and have the T-shirts in the store because we know that's something everybody likes and we know that's something we're going to sell. So we at least wanted to have that. But look ahead at EVE Vegas. We may have some more stuff for Valkyrie players.
Yeah. And we brought the custom controllers as well. If you're up for bidding on any awesome stuff, and I think Ansgar made some beautiful glasses as well for the different ship types
That
too.
would mean we would have to compete against Ariel.
She's got her eye on them, so.
And it doesn't matter what we put there, we will lose.
But everybody would.
Oh, there's a bidding close here. You should get like a phone bid, like and just be like, "What's he doing?" Yeah, he's like,
We did have someone on Discord channel, but the end meme was like, "Can you put bids in and I'll PayPal you?" So we technically did have that.
Oh, that's cool. I can see that. I'm glad they didn't do it like a live auction.
We could sell our shirts, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can sell the shit. You can sell the stuff.
Silent.
No one wants these.
The places this shirt has been.
So
It's a squirrel up front.
Calcifer's not up for auction, but I can. There you go.
Oh, it's a puppet.
Yeah, he's Or is it?
let's kick off. Let's put down.
Let's put down the likes, puppets, more shirts in store.
Sure, we want to kick off. There's quite a bit to digest there in a short space of time. There were 3 big ticket items. That's the ships, the progression, and the rewards. Economy. Yeah, economy in general. Does anyone have any immediate kind of holy shit, I need to discuss
With
X.
the removal of like ships, I'd assume it will only be like a couple from each class. But would that be, instead of removing just a ship, would you like repurpose some of it into another one?
Absolutely, yeah. So we are looking at what people love and why they love it. So say there's a ship, say there are two ships, and one has an ability that everyone loves, and one has an ability that everyone loves, but the other one's like, it's all right. 50% of them are right. What if we smash them together? You know, what if we take what's best about these two ships and combine it?
How are you going to differentiate between the everybody loves and everybody's abusing?
Combination of forum feedback, as always, and our own kind of belief as designers and content creators. You know, we have a good understanding of which ships are most successful and the ones that need some love, and so we're looking very carefully at which ones we kind of merge and what they become. You know, it could be even what's the identity of the ship. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty of, well, if I took an Aegis and a Displacer and smashed them together, whatever, or would I have an Aegis Blazer? You know, or do we give it a new name and then kind of write some lore behind it? Yes, let's do that. That's why we threw the name Venom just on that mock-up, just to show that, you know, this is a new thing. It's something that's been smashed together, and it gives us a chance to say that, you know, we're a year into that journey together as kind of players, and as part of the development journey as well, a year on, what's really right for the game. And how we basically combine these
lure
things.
that up as like a
Yeah,
generation 2 fight.
Yeah, exactly that. So we tie it in, you know, so that when we see Venom or Steve or whatever we call him,
Steve.
cool name for a name, right?
Steve.
So that, you know, when we click on
Oh, Bob.
When we click on Steve, we basically get some of the background information on Steve and where the component parts came from. So you have, you know, this came from the Displacer, and we use the technology as pioneered by the Aegis.
That's good.
The Quartermaster combined these elements.
Yeah.
So we're not going to just like, it's not a case of saying we'll just rip things out of the game. It's about saying, well, what actually works, and how do we kind of put those combinations into something which is more effective.
Yeah, and part of the story, like you're getting at, is like how are the Valkyrie evolving over time themselves? What have they learned in this first year of, you know, their war against Schism, and how have they developed their technology? What new things and what new tech are they bringing on? Where are they finding that tech? How are they integrating it? So, like Rue says, it's not just like let's wipe the slate clean. It's let's have it part of the evolution,
Cool.
which is what's exciting to us.
Because you guys, I mean, I don't know if everybody will know, but the Wraith was the original Valkyrie fighter. Well, the S-33 was Ryan's ship,
Yeah.
and they didn't have any of the ships before that. None of the supports, none of the heavy stuff, none of them existed. There wasn't enough of these ships had been born out of a need for more things
Totally.
in the storyline.
Yep.
Yeah. And don't worry, we're going to cut the Wraith.
And it's gone.
We did one thing so well, let's cut that. Let's rewrite it.
That's one line of code.
Do you have a vaguely random question? And it's about the patch notes and undocumented changes.
We do notice.
We do notice.
We do notice.
Yes,
Recently with the Aegis, you applied the patch to all the heavies to the Aegis, but you never actually documented it. And it was very annoying.
So sometimes we do drop the ball, and
Yeah.
I'll apologise when we do drop the ball when we're putting the patch notes together. It's usually the last thing we do, and everyone's running around the office going, "Holy shit, we're shipping!"
Yeah, they're usually literally on fire.
Yeah. I hand them across the documents burning.
Remind me to post the rules of soon.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, this is something which we do share, and it's something which we share because the EVE Online community and PC gaming in general, it's expected. You know, it's expected.
Yeah.
This is not expected in console games. You know, not to the degree that we already provide them. We provide some very, very detailed notes. You know, there's even things that we do which are like bug fixes, which we'd never even put on there because they're minor things. You know, shifted objective A 1 virtual meter to the right. You know, tick.
I would
There's a
literally
long
love
list.
for that, like.
Yeah, everyone would as well. It's, I can't even copy from Excel into a Word doc that fast. But yeah, so we try to get as much detail as we can, but we try to make sure that we get the detail that really matters, so that when you see things, you have something to relate to it. You know, if I say I know we've chatted in the past about percentages and values. If I give you an Unreal editor value that says it's increased by 2, it's like, well, what's 2 unless you know the bigger picture of all of the rest of the balance in conjunction with it. If I say it's like kind of
something I want personally.
0.05. Absolutely, yeah, you do. You know, everyone wants different things, but we can't please everyone.
Yeah.
So
I think the important thing is when there's something missing from patch notes or something like that, it's not because we're going,
Yeah.
let's not put that in the patch.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
more just like, oh, it didn't make it in, or we
Yeah.
didn't think it was important, but we always like you guys to tell us that
Yeah.
actually it is important for this reason or that reason, and then that is something that we
I
can
did get a
weigh.
genuine surprise after the patch notes get in the Aegis and go, oh, it's got the cooldown mechanic.
And I can fire missiles with DMP or something.
we left that out to test you all once.
You won the game.
Yeah, you won. You get the prize. He gets the dev shirt. It may smell a little, but hey. Sorry.
You mentioned economy before,
Yes.
and I never really thought of it as economy. I just thought of it as like a complex set of layers on top of grinding, which is not. I'm saying it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Because I believe it is. But I'm really glad to hear that you're looking at evaluating that.
Yeah.
As a newer player, as I was jumping in, but that was one of the factors that led to a lot of confusion.
I totally agree. Yeah. And when we say economy, and when I put economy in the presentation, it's because it's a very easy concept to grasp. You show the economy, people get what it is, but that also extends to XP. You know, XP is in itself an economy. This is what gates your progression through the game. You know, so when I say economy, I'm including XP as part of that discussion. You know, so it's silver, it's gold, it's salvage, 3 different types of salvage. It's all of those things which just leads to more confusion because it's just layers and layers of information.
Well, and there's nowhere for it to go, progression-wise. Like if there was a skill tree where you could drill down and become a specialist at something, maybe that would be a great use of the XP.
I mean, yeah, and the example I kind of gave in the presentation is the worst case scenario for me, and I know that this happens. It's like we're not onboarding as well as we should, and people will say, that is an absolutely cool as fuck chip skin, I want it. They'll go and buy it, and then they will unlock this upgrade, which is like, you know, armor increase, and like I've just spent all my this. You know, you shouldn't be in that situation where one thing, which is cosmetic and really increases the wow of your ship, detracts from the fact that you need to mechanically upgrade it to be better in gameplay that actually affects the gameplay. So it's things like that we really want to drill down to, so that no one gets themselves in like a dead end scenario where they've spent all their swag in the wrong place. Yeah. Sorry, you had a question.
Okay, nobody asked this before, but maybe it's a no-go area, but where's the connection between EVE Online and Valkyrie? Yeah,
So
we don't talk about that. There's a growing gap between the two.
There's a total, you know, we share the same.
Could everybody hear the question, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, you know, we share the same universe, we tap into that rich lore and you know, the ships and everything that's so great about EVE Online, but it's really important for us, and was from day one, to be our own kind of story, our own narrative within the EVE universe. And it's more from a gameplay perspective. It's so that we can do things that are for the good of the gameplay, first and foremost. So when we take technology from EVE, we can adapt it. You know, our quartermaster can almost jury rig it. You know, these are pirates, they adapt things for their purposes. And it means that from a gameplay perspective, we're not bound by the maximum speed of a Wraith if it was in EVE Online, or you know, what firepower has this ship got, or what abilities it's got. It means that we can kind of customize it and fit for our game more specifically to what we need, because we're very different games, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, come on, make up minds.
We do. They're fun.
For about a week.
But are there things you're interested in seeing crossover more that you don't see now?
Yes, actually I'm EVE Online player for a long time, and started playing Valkyrie because of the technology. So, and it's fascinating, it's very cool, and it's something you can do in EVE. And so just playing for half an hour or something like that. But it would be cool if yes, the ships and the ship statistics and the storyline would somehow be consistent between these two. Or if you take Gunjack, it could be a gunner on a station somewhere, and everything could fit together. But I don't have the feeling that it's intended. So
Yeah, I think like you were saying, we also think about those things, and you know.
Valkyrie out of fleet auxiliaries.
Yeah, there are all sorts of things you can do, right? But then we have to think about the why instead of the can. And so we think about how to make Valkyrie the best game it can be in the context that it exists in within the EVE universe and the EVE story. So I think we go for making that space pirate experience as great as it possibly can be, using everything we can from EVE, without trying to do things just to do them that may not actually end up having a good impact on gameplay and the pilot experience.
Have you guys played either UT2K4 or say Battlefield 4?
Have I
Talking
played
about
Battlefield
assault.
4? Have I lost half my life to Battlefield?
Talking about the assault maps.
Mm.
You could make that kind of thing something that could be implemented as like hired missions for teams of mercs to fly for Valkyrie. It's probably the only way you could do it without having to merge the systems at all. But yeah, I mean I know the technical side of why it's really hard to do. So I'm never expecting it to be a thing.
And
that
we're
they
always
could
balancing
affect
that against what else can we give our pilots. So, you know, yes, we could go down that road, but, you know, we're a small team. We want to keep it that way so we're nimble and fast and we can react to you guys. So we always have to ask ourselves, what do we do instead?
Has there ever been any more thought to the more pushing a story, like a narrative in Valkyrie?
Yeah, again,
Not just a single player, but just like I suggested last year, like an event happens and you pick sides. And
I mean, we're constantly in touch with the team in Reykjavik. You know, we do sanity check our lore and our fantasy, and we do look for areas where we can kind of cross or share kind of stories, how we can link certain aspects of the game, and we try to put that in with the scout missions. You know, the audio logs, which will give you a little bit of the narrative stuff behind it, but. Yeah, taking it further, it's quite expensive to create single player content like that. Like
I was just more meaning like
right.
like for example a seasonal event.
Yeah.
And it's basically it kind of pushes pick. You know, are you a Valkyrie pilot? Are you a Schism pilot?
Yeah, it's like faction wars basically. Yeah.
And basically you pick a side, and for like that week you fly for that side. You accrue points in matches, and then at the end, whichever side wins, you know, the pilots get the
a
reward.
cookie. Yeah.
And it was
It is
I
interesting.
said about that last year. It's like it would be cool because it would make the factions less of a I'm red or I'm blue.
I think the difficulty at the minute is that you don't have the option to pick Schism or Valkyrie. So, you know, if we're talking like Gears of War style, where it's like, you know, Locust or Gears, you can do stuff like that. Cog, sorry. Cog.
I may play a little.
Yeah, I might dabble. Or, you know, in some other games, like even stuff like that I've worked on, the crew, we had like a meta clan, so you joined like a faction, so you had 5 different factions and you raced for them over a period of time, and we tracked the data across the world and stuff like that. But you need to have that option to kind of raise the flag of what clan you're in. I think it might be more interesting if we kept the Schism Valkyrie angle, but the clans became more important. You know, clans that says
something like a clan war.
I just realised there was
So great.
a fantastic way you could implement it. You could have like a wormhole. And for each wormhole, you got like over a set period of time, you got to pick which side that you spawn
You're scoring on.
and then it would just be because it would be self-enclosed in the wormhole, obviously. So you didn't have to choose a side, and literally, you know, you could like if you picked the Schism side, you would get like a little Schism decal for your ship or something. Because we all know gamers still like
all like swag.
So. Totally lost my go.
That's good. I'm a terrible person. I actually bought Valkyrie about a year ago, and I haven't installed it completely.
What?
Get out.
Yeah, that's true. I've been through the installation process like 5 times, and I tried, and then it takes about an hour, and then I get the serial number, and then everything is almost connected, and I have to do something else.
Nice. Well,
So,
you want me to come around your house and sort that out?
yeah, that's
Can you get that?
I can actually pay your plane ticket as well.
Was it PC?
Yeah.
Yeah, and was it for the Oculus, did you say?
DK1.
DK1?
Yeah.
DK1?
Okay, one.
There's a problem.
There's
That's
a problem.
DK1, Oculus DK1.
It's not supported.
It's supported, that's why. Yeah.
I've heard it's not supported.
Yeah, it's consumer.
Ah, that's
or
the
the
old one.
DK2.
It still works.
It does.
DK2? That's supported DK2? Just about.
You guys tell us. It's not supported.
No,
No, we
It's
don't.
not officially
I
supported.
think I have a DK2 as well.
Right, okay.
You might give that a shot. I mean, I'm sure people here could help you figure out how to get it working.
No,
but
because I haven't been able to pay much attention to it, and I just thought it was a problem for everybody. But
No,
apparently
I think it sounds like more hardware-ish than
well, that's
plug in the
easily
most
solved.
recent kit.
That is not a problem.
it's an expensive thing.
Is that really?
Thank
It's
you.
got to get
It's
our
really
IT
worked
on the
there.
phone.
Okay, cool.
I don't know who was first. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of a follow-up to the question about transitioning from like the Oculus Store account to the Steam VR account from the presentation.
Yep.
A friend of mine has Valkyrie and Oculus. I've got it in Steam. Is there any talk about trying to be able to allow it so that he and I can form a squad together?
Yes, please.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's on a list of things that we're looking at as and when we can, as and when we can tackle those things. It was easy, to be honest, with PlayStation because there was an interface there that we could just tap into and use, the party system for party chat and for squads and everything. But there are things that we need to consider when we bring that online for something like Vive and Oculus. They're very different kind of OSs. So it's basically work, and it's work that I'm sure we'll get round to it at some point, but I couldn't promise it. It just goes on a list of.
If it helps his point at all, in terms of Discord and some of the other places where we get like immediate player feedback, even beyond custom matches, which is probably one of the most wanted. Being able to squad with people across platforms is probably the biggest single request.
Totally. And there are issues which are not just on our shoulders. I'll be very frank that there are limitations, and let's just call it, hoops we have to jump through in order to satisfy conditions to do something.
We have
like
bigly
that.
got that. We count down. 5, 4. Can you get it? Can you get it?
Yeah, it's something we would love. We would love to address. It's one of the huge challenges of being a multi-platform game, especially in VR. But I mean, we can continue to focus on and think about it, but not something I know of as being on the horizon immediately soon.
Unfortunately, yeah. So, gentlemen.
I was just wondering because you mentioned in the presentation that you were talking about the economy and the gold and the silver and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what your thoughts are, because when the devlog about the Plex changes came on, and obviously I'm involved in Project Nova with the guys there. I still talk to them a lot as a CPO from Dust. And we were talking about that as well, about the Plex. Would that be any chance of that being able to be used, transfers, if you were going to be renovating all that part of the game? Is there any chance of being able to Plex being broken down?
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's
not a unified thing.
Yeah, it's not come up in conversation so far. It's something maybe look into just to see if there's a fit there in any way. But
because because I mentioned it to the Nova guys as well, that'd be a way to unify the universe of the free games without actually having a physical connection between them. So it'd be just counts could be swapped over.
It is something that I personally have talked about with my counterparts on the EVE team.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as simple as it might
appear. I know between Rift and the stores and everything like that. But.
Yeah, that's not to say we wouldn't tackle it if it became something that we thought was important. We would. But right now there isn't such a huge demand for doing that, for using something like Plex and Valkyrie, that we are prioritizing it over some of the other things that we've been talking about here today. But it is something I think would be great. I mean, would it be cool? Absolutely. But the tech isn't in place right now.
Oh yeah.
But it is something that we definitely.
I just thought we were there because I thought that when I read the Plex blog, and I thought when they broke it all down, that's so much better.
Yeah, totally.
It's for your microtransactions and your vanity products and all your the skins and everything like that. It means so much easier.
Yeah.
Also a really good thing I think for the unification of the games.
Yeah, it's a good thing to keep in mind for sure.
So, knowing that it's much easier to develop things in very early stages of the development of things, such as say, Nova. Anybody thought of maybe having this ground map, integrating that where it's a casual window.
We're the Valkyrie map
We're
people.
Valkyrie.
That's Denny.
Yeah, Denny would know.
As soon as, well, obviously there's the opening ceremony in the Discord, all the guys, obviously the Dust guys are also, a lot of them are in the Valkyrie Discord as well. As soon as the presentation came up before the Nova announcement came up, and then there was the trailer for Ground Strike, and then they all just go, ground map, we've got chess, fire.
That's distracting.
For Christ's sake, it's a trailer. But yeah, there was a lot of talk about that. So.
Yeah, I think all we can say is that map was specifically 150% created just for Valkyrie.
Yeah, which is what I think.
Yeah. But it would be cool.
It's a pretty map. Are you guys excited? Have you had a chance to play?
Not yet. I was going to go queuing and then I realised I was running late for this, so I will try.
That's no excuse. I queued.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually queued for 20 minutes the other day.
I was waiting like a good person for quick Q&A.
Look for Ledge. We'll get you queued.
We'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll get you queued.
We can work it out.
One of the ones I've been asked to relay, is there any plans for an Oceanic server anytime soon?
It's
For
a repeat
training guys, for
Yeah.
to actually have a decent connection, because when you look at the pings they get on even the US or the EU server, it's unplayable.
We'll just have to look at the data,
Yeah.
but it's good to get it on our map.
Yeah.
We'll take it back and ask the guys.
People in Australia, especially in some of China, they're basically not buying the game. Or like I know firsthand a couple of people from Japan who have bought the game and then immediately gone, "Can I have my money back?" because they can't play.
Right.
It's a major problem for Dust as well.
Yeah, it always becomes a question of just looking at the data and the numbers and seeing if it makes sense for us. So we'll take that back to the guys. Thank you.
The gentleman was first.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you had your hand up. Hi.
The other thing is, I often have the problem that the matches after a certain amount of time, they're always the same. And I thought, how about if, let's say, where you capture the points or in carry assault, when there are more points, let's say 12 points in the map, but only 3 active, but those change because you have them always on the same point. You fly always the same route, and if you look at Gate Crash, I often have the feeling you're only using half the map because you never fly up to the Rockwell. You never fly somewhere else where not these points are. So if you spread more points and those change, let's say, at the attack phase of the carrier, other points get active, or when you capture the points after a certain amount of points have been generated by one, this one goes offline and another one goes online.
That's really interesting. Yeah. We'll look into that. Potentially putting more objectives out there so that we have 9 to pick from, and we pick 3 A, B, C at any one time.
Like green and red gates and stuff.
Yeah. The
The
only counterpoint that I would say to that is that it's very, very hard to get players used to maps and provide feedback in VR, like unbelievably hard. We have infinite space, but grabbing someone's attention and focusing on a specific point is really tricky. And so a lot of the objectives are put in key locations, which are actually called out by the terrain, the way the map's actually leveled out. So they're end to end of a structure, one in the middle. So that in the heat of battle, you know exactly where you need to go to get to the objective. That's not to say it would limit our design moving it further, that we could potentially experiment with it in something like Control. Control's a perfect game mode for it. If we had nine focal points during Control, I think we could experiment with it and see if it's successful. I wouldn't want to experiment with it carry assault specifically, because we have a hard enough job trying to get people to do exactly what they should be doing at every stage in the battle in that kind of game mode anyway. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of information to take in. But we do actually use that system. It already takes place on the carrier. So I think we have 50 specific cooling node locations. Yeah, and it rotates. So we already have the mechanic. We have the system there. It's an interesting one. I'll take that back to the team. Sounds really cool. And what we can do as well is, now that we've got the wormholes, it's a really good place where we can test out new mechanics and have some fun. And we're not going to kind of unbalance things in normal PvP. So. Yeah.
So if you see it pop up in a wormhole, you can be like, I was there,
man. You need to think of a good name for it, though. Yeah. So you need to email me with a good name for that wormhole. Z23111.
Yeah, Z251-51-B.
Yes.
So I did notice one thing about the ground assault map that I felt it was lacking, and that's if you show up in a big carrier and you're assaulting a ground facility, I haven't ever seen any ground facility that isn't going to fight back with more than just fighters.
Depends on the facility.
It's
already an abandoned.
It's a research base.
It's an abandoned scientists. They've got to science.
I haven't seen any pirate base that isn't armed to the gills.
Isn't it an abandoned Mimitar research
Schism's
base?
taking it over. They're
Yeah.
just they're just squatting there. Yeah.
Let's go quickly retcon that.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Sorry.
I
Two
think
of you
she-
guys on the
yeah.
front. Who was first?
You were first.
You're first.
I don't mind waiting on you go first.
Mine's more complex as well.
Alright, mine's a quick question. First of all, I love the wormholes. Wormholes are more for people if they're going cooking and stuff like that, or they're going out to the pub and they just want to quickly have a game.
Cool.
They can pop in. If they want to show friends, they can pop in. Now, my question is, obviously, every weekend you do different wormholes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. However, people may miss that, or people may be working, so on and so forth. Is there any way, and especially like the old wormholes, like some people who had the mine and we had the first one, and people are, oh, I wish it was there. Obviously, you've got Celsius videos, what are fantastic, what you can watch. Is there any way during the week, I know it would be a lot of work, and you've got that fantastic stuff that you were showing, what it is, I'm very excited about. But is there any way that during the week you maybe had old wormholes open?
Yeah.
So
Or
people
make it
could maybe,
single player content.
or no, have you played some of them? You people. But is there any way of having the old wormholes maybe on certain days during the week open, so people, classic
wormholes.
so people could try the old wormholes, and it also means that, as I said, if people maybe don't want to get into a PvP match and they just want to have fun, or they want to do something for 5
custom
minutes.
matches without doing custom matches.
It's a really good suggestion.
And it's also like for streaming, is sometimes we don't want to go in a match, sometimes we just want to, by my language, piss about.
Yeah, you want to dig around.
Wormholes are fun for that.
Drunk
It's
mode.
more you can interact with people like, oh,
I mean, as part of when we brought wormholes online, the idea was that people would give us the feedback that said this was the best wormhole we've ever been in because of these reasons, and we'd take all that feedback and say, all right, well, tick box, we know that one-shot missiles and rainbow trails works, we'll use those two together again. You know, so getting the feedback on what works and what doesn't is key to it's key to what we deliver next. Now, the challenge that we face if we leave wormholes open every week,
with people
and
there
also
not being in the
and also offer multiple versions of those wormholes, is it's more and more options that take away the traffic from PvP, which is ideally where we want most of our community. But you know, it's a cool idea, and it's something
maybe
we'll take
if
back.
you did it like once a month, that you maybe had it
Just
one
for
day.
Christmas, wormhole D-514B is back.
Just like, the return of
just say that and just not tell them what's in it.
They're like, yeah.
It might be that you know, we kind of look and say, all right, well, this combination is absolutely the best thing we ever did, and we'd make it a wormhole week. You know, because it was so good, we'll open the wormhole for a whole week.
Well, I didn't mean
and
all
we'll
the time. I
advertise
just
it.
meant on tangent because, as you said, you would take, because that's why I really want the custom games. But I could see where that would take away. These guys would just be in the custom games the whole time. It'd be like, where's 1.5 or where's Quantum to blow me up? Or, you know, so I can understand it's the same premise as that.
But it's not to say it's a bad idea, it's a really, really good idea, it's very clear.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot of things you look at and
No, I
it's a
can
great
see where
idea,
you're,
but the time's not right,
Yeah,
and
right,
you think about how you can deliver
This
it in
whole
other ways.
player base,
But it's good.
Any more?
Okay.
Oh, on it.
Is yours quick or long?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, answer that how you like.
Which one are you going?
Alright, fine.
Are we there yet?
So I already kind of asked you this question, so you knew it was coming, but I'm going to put you on the spot. I am all about getting players in, new experience, getting people to play, and I have similarly seen people really struggle. Like it's a big thing this weekend, this weekend as well, because most of the chips out there have Gatlins, so you see 2 kills deciding a match.
Mm-hmm.
So I 100% get where you're coming from with those guns are difficult to use, and getting people used to them is a difficult thing. But I really need to hit home that, like, okay, so I've used this analogy once or twice, but there's a skill curve in the game, and there's a plateau at the top, and pretty much everybody at that plateau is more or less the same in skill. There's probably about 15, 20 people there, and a lot of those people are your biggest evangelists. They're the people that want to get other people playing the game, they're the people that want to help you, they're the people who want to move the world for you.
Yeah.
They're all getting really frustrated with phaser, with flak, with the weapons that, if you've got a newbie using them, it's not too much of a problem. But the moment you put them into somebody's hands who wants to be, maybe they're a slightly above average player, and especially if there's a squad of them, it makes the game miserable for everybody. It's like, I'm flying my best. Nobody should be able to follow through this evasive arc that I'm doing. Like, I've gone through this tunnel, it's really, really tight, I just made it, there's no way anybody's going to follow me through this. You come out, and you're like 4 lots of people firing explosions at you that can't miss. It's so frustrating to play against.
And it's in the balance. You know, this is exactly what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to drill down to a tighter, more refined set of ships which we can manage, and we can make those tweaks so that everyone stands a chance of getting some kills, but at the same time we're not disadvantaging one over the other. And it's a hard road, I'm not going to lie. But I think by condensing what we have to something manageable, we'll get there a lot quicker, and it'll be people like yourself that help us get there through the feedback we always get. You know, what the weapons are, what the damage radius is, and all of those things, how far we push the upgrades in a particular direction, all of those questions. That's kind of the, that's the roadmap ahead. And we're starting those discussions now, so long may it continue. Hopefully we won't drop the ball on it for you.
Cool. Similar to that, have you thought about anything in terms of preventing class stacking?
Yes, 5 phasers firing at the
5
same time as
phasers,
anything.
5 maelstroms,
Totally, and the reason we can't do it now is because we've got the launch tubes. So what happens if you go into battle and you go, oh, hey, I'll just put my Accord in here, this is me. Oh, too many Accords on the battlefield. The fuck am I going to fly? Sit and watch. So I think once we start looking at, what do we do with the launch tubes? Do we just get rid of them and have ship selection? In which case, that answers that question. It becomes a lot more kind of practical. We can start having those conversations about what's the total amount of heavies we should have in a fight, and maybe putting like a cap on a particular class. So we're having those discussions internally as well, because we have the same chat. In our play test, we're like, too many heavies. But how we get to the answer is the road ahead, basically, the next few months.
Any from the back? Here we go. Very quiet at the back. Hello. Bueller.
Gentleman with the awesome hat had a question.
So I used to be a competitive Quake player, Quake 3, Quake 2. One of the best tools that we had, whether it was at a LAN party or playing broadly online with people in the world, was the ability to record matches. And they just were like event listings that could be replayed by the software. So it was a real simple kind of debug hack that it just turned into this feature. And it got me thinking about that in Valkyrie. Do you think that's a potential option, like not anytime soon, but down the road for enhancing competitive gameplay? Like if I'm going up with my squad against another squad, I want to be able to pick apart what they did to wreck them.
Yeah.
Especially if that what they did isn't using five of the same shit.
Yeah, totally. Take a note of it, and we'll look into what that means, and particularly what that means in VR.
That's the challenge.
So the challenge really is we're already, it's no secret, we've had it on the Trello, we have messed around with spectator cam and what the options are for that. We know that dropping fixed cameras in the world is not necessarily the best way to spectate or use anything within VR. Is it a camera ship? Is it something which is tethered to a ship? A player ship which you can rotate. So, we're still kind of in the early stages of finding something that really works. And I think that would prove really useful to then recording footage of saying this is a battle, it's saved, and then replaying it. Much like you do in a racing game. You save replay and then you could watch it back and say, all right, that corner, I can see that, you know, he picked me to the post because he got the apex better than I did, or something
I mean,
else.
just as a debug tool, your QA team would probably love you.
Yeah, possibly. Because when Gav was drunk.
Is there any other questions first?
No,
This is someone from Discord. I'm not asking all the questions, but I've looked through them. Will there be an additional modification made in the future in carrier salt where the carrier will actually be moving? So it's not stagnant, so that way people wouldn't always just know straightly where to go.
That's evil.
Mm.
It is evil.
Reference previous conversation about making sure people know exactly where to go. But it's not to say that we couldn't add more life to it. You know, it's easy to put something like that on a map, like say a gateway, because it's concentric circles, right? And you know, a lot of matinee ships there are kind of flying
That's
around.
not just short words.
But yeah, but you know, but the carriers could have a movement as long as that movement was predictable. Yeah.
What I was thinking for a carrier sort, is there any way to change the guns and basically, because obviously the manoeuvre that you asked us to do a couple of weeks ago,
yes.
would it be more interesting for carrier salt if actually defanging a carrier mattered? So it actually gives you a tactical advantage in the match.
Deflower?
Doing what?
Defanging.
Defanging. This is a new thing. I have not discovered this.
I've never heard of what the manoeuvre's called.
I know we have the womb and the birth sequence, but you know, this is crazy.
Basically taking, having a tactical advantage of taking all the guns off of a carrier.
Yeah.
Because right now it is literally like, oh, I was killed by the carrier defense. No.
You
Yeah.
do get a tiny amount of points.
A tiny amount.
But again, this is something that we're looking at with the ships. You know, as we kind of iterate the ships, we're looking at what abilities we could add to the ships. You know, like even shared abilities. So what about if I generate like an EMP blast or a pulse? Yeah, that comes out from our ship.
But only if there's 5 in the same ship, right?
No, you have a heavy that everyone else shoots through to get the EMP shot.
But it sounds like the theme is like interesting, advanced forms of control-based gameplay.
It was more. I was more thinking because obviously carrier assault kind of forces you into 1 or 2 ships to fly effectively in carrier assault. With fighters, you're in the Wraither room, so you could maybe make the guns more based on shields. So things like the Accord would actually be useful to just. You're not there to clear off the nodes, you're there to just clear off the guns to get your
That's
other...
really interesting. It's a direct application is, every turret gun has a shield around it. The only thing that can strip that shield is a support ship. That's something that fully brings the support to have a defined role in that stage of carrier
Because
assault.
you'll notice with a lot of the carrier assaults, everyone has a Wraith in their tubes because as soon as they get carrier assault, it's really the only ship, apart from Nidwin.
But yeah, that's a really, really smart idea.
Apart from that is how sort of useless the other fighters are at the moment.
Not just the fighters, but a lot of the heavies. I mean,
yeah, the heavies really suffer
shields
as well.
Sorry, you were saying that about the sport, but you've actually done really well with the sports. They've all got personalities to them. It's not just they're all the same. You've got like the Revenant, that is the mine one. It can heal a wee bit, but it's obviously if you do that one, that is the more Raven support. You've got the Banshee, who's the jack of all trade. You've got the Guardian, who's the medic. The other lot are a wee bit, but you were saying that you're obviously looking at ships, so which ones you would think you have actually got ships that have got defined roles in that.
Definitely. I think it's not particularly clear to new players. It's not a lot of that stuff because you are. Like I love it. You are hardcore user. You are hardcore support for life. You are very, very familiar with all of those things. I think
but it's nice because the Valkyrie has got a lot more people into sport. I was trying to explain because I know that they're all like, oh, but the shit that I do ever something about Banshee. But it's nice to see that I've seen since then, since the stuff, you've had a lot more people play that class because it was kind of a. People would just do the heavy or the fire, so it's nice to see that because you put in the maybe a bit more aggressive, because some people won't want to be that, they will want to be the, I want to blow people up and look at my smoke ring, but you've managed to put that in there, but still keep that it's technically got the support position, if that made any sense.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all of the stuff that we're going to have to look at very closely. We don't want to kill off favourites, but we'll look at what's really, really working, basically. And I think a lot of it comes down to like the immediate feedback that you get. Like some of the biggest complications I see and feel myself is when I'll take out a ship and when I pull the trigger, nothing happens because it's a charge weapon, and we haven't got the right feedback in place to really communicate it to the players. Or it's just like a.
We had that on the demo day. Someone was playing the Guardian, and it wasn't just halfway through that he realised that it had the beam to strip.
Yeah, and that's a big fail, So a lot of our job is really just trying to make sure
make it more player friendly.
Tools and the knowledge, basically. We give you the tools of war, we give you the knowledge to use this.
You've unlocked the ship, press X to view the tutorial and play about with it.
Yeah.
And like you explain it as because I think that's the
that's kind of on the table right now, is how we can have a little preview video of what the
or just that you've unlocked the ship, well done, now here basically press X or press whatever to go into the tutorial, because it wasn't until 5 weeks after I started playing that I found the heavy tutorial.
Right.
I didn't even know there was one when the other guy goes, there's a heavy tutorial. It's like,
they're tucked away.
And that's, we try to do things like we put like a percentage completion on everything, so that even on the top screen you look and you say, oh, well, there's only 50%. What's in there? And you click it, and you go, oh, there's only 60%. What's in there? But that's it doesn't do the job. It doesn't do the job 100%. And we need to be better at signposting a lot of things in the game.
Sorry, we kind of monopolized the
Okay.
Do you have any data on what controllers are used in the game right now?
What controllers we support?
He's asking, I think, what
Do we have
data
data
on
on
the most popular ones are?
Data on the controller. Yeah, no, we don't actually.
Well, CCP Boston probably has that data somewhere.
See what works the best.
We had a big response when we put in the controller for the Holdas for PS4. There's a lot of demand for that, and people are absolutely loving it. And it does bring something very different to the experience as well. I use it myself now. But
so no bias now.
I will admit, you're saying that the PS4 with the videos has actually made me want to try the Holders.
Do what? Sorry,
there's been some videos of people showing how you play, and it's actually made me want to try
it's fun.
It is. It's really good fun. It feels very different.
So what do you guys prefer yourselves? I mean,
it's weird. I use my throttle and stick when I'm at work because I'm in front of my desk. But then again, it's circumstance. And then I go home, and my gaming at home is more slouched on the sofa or on a beanbag, so then it goes back to the pad.
For me, it's always the Xbox 360 controller, just because that's how I first started playing the game, and I don't like change. So I just plug that in wherever I go. So
he's got it in his pocket.
And it's always under my pillow at night too, just in case.
I'd be really surprised if it wasn't sort of 98% PS4 controller or Xbox controller, with the rest being made up of a couple of different passes. Probably something like that.
Yeah, we can check out if we find the answer. We can share it with you guys. That's a good question. Any other questions?
Any more for any more? Otherwise, we've got about 10 minutes.
I could ask a couple of these questions if you want.
Okay.
You said it with such a quick. I'm really dreading
some of them are just.
If you were a flavour of yogurt, what flavour?
Well, what?
There are some good ones, like different. You've already vaguely said it. The different team sizes. Is that something that you'll be wanting to possibly in the future?
Different team sizes.
Yes. Because obviously it's 8 at this moment.
Yes.
Is there maybe get like 10, or it would always be Matrix ones?
It's another one of those that we've investigated. It was on the roadmap, and kind of, if the time's right, if the technology's right, if we get everything performing well, then I'd love to go to 10. Who wouldn't? More the merrier.
I think we need to.
Yeah, I think we covered it all.
So that's all for this one. If you're interested in seeing how experts pilots play Valkyrie and want to ask them some questions, we're going to go next door, and we're going to turn the tables and ask them what their favourite yogurt is.
You guys ask me.